Alright, today we're playing a game called No More Future. And I saw this game on the AppStore and it looked kind of cool, so I wanted to bring some light to it. So, here we go. Welcome to No More Future. Before we begin, a few words of caution. This story is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people, places, world events, and anything else that isn't explicitly named is coincidental. This story also references topics such as death, depression, suicide, or suicidal thoughts, violence, and other topics that aren't suitable for children ages 15. Well, that's too bad for me. I'm just going to have to deal with that because I'm 12. This is crazy. Prologue, here we go. A dimly lit room in the midst of the fanciest hospital your family could afford. A simple bedroom surrounded by grey walls and dusty curtains on all sides. Beyond the artificial barriers lie identical cubicles all around you. They're a bit livelier than yours, about as lively as they can be in a place like this anyway. There are no shows to watch while you wait, no games to play, no books to read, and no one to talk to. Not even your family is allowed in at this hour of day. You can only listen to other patients as they lament their woes to their loved ones, sobbing and crying while holding each other tight. You haven't paid attention to any of them for quite a while. It only makes you feel worse. You smell on your bread, hit them within the discomfort. Your eyes are red from all the tears, and the streaks they've left in their wake are still visible hours apart. The inside of your mouth is as dry as the voices of the nurse and the doctors that seldom come visit you. I'm sick, bro. You're a shipwreck, drifting off in the misty night, waiting for the waves. You finally swallow you whole, however long it may take. You're already know. That all these treatments are meaningless, or that there is no saving you from yourself. Your family trusts in doctors that they're wasting their finances on praying to whatever God is out there that he may listen to their plight. But you who lays in this bed, who endures the painful treatments, who must bear the nightmares that come to haunt you every day and every night, you outgrew hope long ago. So you lay there, alone and afraid, your body frozen as if encased in ice, your mind stuck in a loop. Over and over, you repeat to yourself the brutal truth you can oops. You're going to die. That's sad. Good evening there. How you doing today? It's not that jolts you from your dark thoughts. Of course, you've gotten used to people coming and going. Everything fell into a monotone routine after half a year of letting it. Okay. Hardly appropriate given the circumstances. Hello? You there? Come on, no, you aren't dead. That's much better. Good to know I wasn't too late to the party. It's kind of hard to converse with a corpse. Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, that's not. But both are strange apparent and even strange mannerisms. Immediately you notice the lab coat that she's wearing, but just like her attire is marked differently by the ones worn by the local doctor. Siamese cat with beige fur on her hands and neck. Look at... Yeah. What is she? Well, that's really weird. You can't see her tail either, thanks to the coat. You wonder whether she even has one underneath the outfit. After some time spent calmly observing, the strange lady addresses you once again. I guess I haven't introduced myself yet, huh? Sorry about that. It happens more often than I'd like. The woman extends her right hand towards you, though she likely didn't expect you to take it. I'm Dr. Shelley, but you can call me Mary. I'm the head of the synthetic department over at Pandora Laboratories. Got a bunch more titles under my belt, but none quite as important as the last. Needless to say, I don't exactly work here or anything. I'm here as a visitor, and you're free to call security on me if I start overstepping my boundaries in any way. On me, okay. But I think you should hold that thought for now. We've only just started getting to know each other after all. You've half a mind. I can't speak. You've half a mind to have thrown her out. Have her thrown out right now. Truth be told, you have no clue this lady even is aside from what she's told you, and you're certainly in no mood to entertain whatever nonsense she's spreading. I didn't read that last one. How is you about to raise your voice? Something that she meant to be in the brain in the back of your mind, like the worm digging into its way into your brain. Pandora Laboratories, synthetics. Something about these words feel oddly familiar, uncannily so, for reasons you can't fathom or guess at. You feel as though you've heard them before, but all your mind can conjure up are broken words and blank canvases. So sorry for asking this, but I just realized I didn't have a chance to look up your name before I got here. The nurse is downstairs getting your room conditioned. Well, everything really, but they never did bother to mention you by anything other than your number. And here I thought we were the ones working with robots. The lady's witty lines, which somehow succeeds at drawing a faint smile on your face almost, makes you forget that she just admitted to illegally obtaining your sensitive data. Oh my god. You really should have called security on this nut job a while ago. But you honestly don't feel like it. Not just yet. You reckon that can wait until you've given this doctor a piece of your mind. Do the doctors around here give their patients info to strangers all the time, or are you just a special case? Though there was no irony in your parched and dried up voice, the woman laughs at your query. Fucking hell. Nonetheless, my at least your sense of humor's alive and kicking. I might have made it just in time after all. To answer your question, let's just say I have my ways. Don't worry, I'm not going to use your private data to sell you kitchen knives or low-calorie smoothies. Unlike the workers here. I have standards. How reassuring. Oh, come on. Don't act like I'm out here trying to stab you with a needle or something. Like I already said, that's the job of the people downstairs. All I want is to have a nice conversation with someone for one reason or another managed to pique my interest. Surely you can understand this. I piqued your interest? Instead of answering your question, the cat merely smiles. How about you tell me your name first and we'll go from there. Unless you want me to leave you alone, of course. That'd be wise, you wonder. Sharing your name and who knows what else with this bizarre doctor. You still know so little about. You don't even know who this Mary is or what she's after. Nor is it clear what exactly you stand to gain from this surreal exchange. And yet, what exactly do I have left to lose? It's not like privacy all that important to you right now. Not many things are at this point. The alternative to this senseless dreamlike conversation is easy silence and ruinous contemplation, then for now. Alright, sure. Whatever. My name is Isaac. That name's trash. Ugh. That name's so trash, bro. So it's probably just you being dramatic as usual, all things considered. Isaac, I see. Would that be the name your parents chose for you? I'm sorry? The cat's question takes you completely by surprise. You'd like to ask for an explanation of some sort. The cat swiftly beats you to the punch. Have you ever noticed how little of ourselves was chosen by us in this world? Our names, our genders, our sexualities, our bodies. Even our own personality are mostly dictated by the way we were raised and by whom. Things we never got a say in. We were born with them, molded by them, and we're stuck with them until the day we... Before she can finish, she likely realizing how unfamiliar upon things have become, she stops herself. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go there. Sometimes I can't control myself when I start rambling like that. What I meant to ask was, if you could start your life anew, and this time you could choose everything about yourself, including your name, would you keep it the same, or would you change it? The interesting sort. Wouldn't you agree? More like the ridiculous. Oh, come on, don't sound so glum. Humor me for a minute. You won't be worse off for answering an innocent question. The woman's strange ponderings caused some stir within your mind. You have no idea where this bizarre line of questioning could possibly... Even so, you can't help yourself from indulging in it further, afraid to return to the dread and emptiness that preceded it. So, what would it be? As Phoenix wrote, listen, this name's so cool. Phoenix, huh? Interesting. Yeah, no, it's a good name. Is that your online alias, a cool nickname you've always wanted to have? Or maybe is it the name of a favourite character from a cartoon or TV show? No, I just made it up. It's a really cool name. Vanessa and Felix together to create a cool name that sounds very... something. I'm just kidding, don't worry, I won't pry. Either way, names are far from the most important part of an individual. They're just there so we can assign a label to countless faces and voices in our heads. For now, Isaac is more than good enough for me, but I wouldn't mind calling you Phoenix someday. What? Okay, time out. The woman raised an eyebrow at your objection, seemingly quite surprised by your visible confusion. Is there even a point to this conversation? Because I can't even smell a hint of one. Of course there's a point, and I was getting to it eventually. Is much too long of a time frame for your taste, considering you don't even know what this talk is all about in the first place. It's a little difficult to speak up, especially in your condition, but you try to articulate your confusion as best you can regardless. I really don't understand why you're doing this, or why I'm going along with it, for that matter. When people come visit me, I'm used to hearing them talk about their lives, the memories we've had together, sometimes about the awful weather outside. But now you've come along and start asking weird questions out of the blue and then look at me as though I'm supposed to just nod and go along with it all. It's true that your conversation so far wasn't particularly unenjoyable. It was definitely out of the ordinary for sure, but not necessarily awful. However, given what little time you have left, you can't shake off the feeling that this discussion is utterly pointless endeavor. Not unlike throwing buckets of water into the ocean. And again, wouldn't that be true of all the conversations you've had on this bed? I just can't see the point of doing any of this. You hear the cat exhaling a deep sigh as she rests back on the nearby wall, a pleading expression on her face. I understand, really. I know there's a lot going through your mind right now, and that you're not prepared for this conversation. At the same time, however, I can't really afford to slow down with you. I know you'd prefer if we introduced ourselves better first, or if I explain what I'm trying to achieve here in more detail. I have every intention to get there, trust me, but unfortunately I have some questions I need to ask first, and I can't skip out on them. Time is of the essence, after all. I've got places to be, people to talk to, and plenty of work to do. I don't have much time, and truth be told, I'm not even supposed to be here right now. Wait, what? What? What does she mean by that? But then, of course, will I have the luxury of being late if I want? Yeah, unfortunately, like even that. There's no telling how much time you have left in this world, so you need to consider what you do with it wisely. We can use it to have some regular chit-chat, of course, and then we can go our separate ways having gained absolutely nothing. Or you can let me ask you a few more questions, even if they're a little off rails, and maybe we'll both come out of this even a little better off than we started. What's it gonna be? A little bit better off. But you've come this far already. You might as well see if there's really is a point to all of this. Alright, I guess I can enjoy a couple more questions if that's what it takes for you to start making some sense. Excellent! Trust me, this won't take long at all. In fact, this is the very last question. For now, at least. The lady takes out a tablet from within a... I'm starting to get bored of this section, bro. What the fuck? With something on it. What pronouns do you use? Really? That's what you made such a fuss over? Hey, you're the one who went off of me on me. If anyway, that's probably a correct assessment, all things considered, but you don't have time to worry about that, as the feeling quickly picks up the pace. Look, I know it's stupid, but no matter how this conversation goes, I'll need to file a report once I get back. Company regulations require me to list your preferred pronouns somewhere in there. Something about avoiding potential lawsuits and things of the sort. If you ask me, it's just a lot of paperwork meant to give the intern something to do, but what can you do? If you really don't want to answer, I can just write... No, it's fine. You're not exactly excited by the idea of sharing even more personal data with her, and you still have no idea what any of this is for, but is this what it takes for doctors to start talking? If you really must know, I go by... he, him. I go he, him. Alright, I'll be sure to remember that too. I'll hold you to it, I guess. You got any more surveys you want me to fill out before you tell me what in the world you're doing here? Usually people charge money to give their private information out like this, you know. They do, don't they? Well, don't worry about that for now. You'll be compensated for the time you're lending me, more than enough, trust me. You feel as though you're meant to be reassured by that knowledge, and yet you feel the way she spoke only elicited shivers down your spine. And yes, as a matter of fact, we're done with the boring part. Now I can finally get to the real meat of the discussion. Oh, great. And here I thought I wasn't going to make it past all those needless questions. Thea's off to the side for a moment, as though genuinely remorseful. That really took a while, huh? I apologize for that. I don't usually take this long to get all the bureaucracy sorted out. Were it for me, we'd have skipped over it entirely. So, since we're both very much raring to go, how about I ask you a real question, Dawn leans over at the railing of the bed, a sly smile on her lips. You can't help but feel slightly uncomfortable at a sudden nearness for some reason. Have you ever heard of synthetics? That came out of the blue, alright? It's certainly not what you expected her to ask, not with that excited, over-the-moon face anyway. And just what in the world is she talking about anyway? Synthetics. Even now you haven't the faintest clue of what she means. No, not at all. Are you important or something? The feeling smiles, almost laughed at your unpreparedness. Gentleman look in the face, you must have expected this kind of reaction. You could say that. It's a little something. I've come up with a product. I've come up with a Oops. We've been working on it for more than a decade now, but we've only started spreading awareness of it recently. It's no wonder someone who was stuck in the hospital for half a year like you doesn't know about it. To put it simply, synthetics are bionic constructs made of both organic parts and artificially made, of course, and mechanical ones. The humanoid, human, humanoid. That's really weird, fun word. That's a fun word. Androids built to resemble and operate as if they are a real human. The revelation is underwhelming, to put it lightly. So, artificial is for AIs to walk around in, really? The technology's been out for a few decades at least. Am I supposed to be impressed or something? Again, she smiles. Apparently the answer is yes. It has, hasn't it? I would know. We were the ones who first came up with it after all. You were? The woman smiled, widened in response to your query, as though implying an affirmative answer. The more she looks at you like that, the more she spurs you to remember, the less you can shake the feeling that you should know what company she's from and what she's here for. And you do. Pandora. I thought I recognized that name. You're that huge R&D company, right? The one that's always on the news for one reason or another. My, I didn't know we had a fan. She jokingly says while she's still brooming replied. That would be us. Yes, the ones who came up with all the cool things you can't do with that in life. Magtech, high-end prosthetics, advanced drones and robotics. AIs, chronos. You interrupt her in the midst of her spiel, trying to remind the strange lady what people really know her company for. At first, the woman appears mildly irritated by the point you phrased. And that quickly changes as soon as she realizes a peculiarity within your gaze. Yep, that was our doing too. Looks like if someone knows their recent history. Although, you don't seem anywhere near as bothered by it as most others. Interesting. You shrug, or at least try to show as much to the doctor. What difference does it make? I'm dying. It's kind of late for me to worry about this stuff. If anything, I guess it's only fitting that someone from Pandora would come talk to me on my deathbed. If I didn't already have enough reasons to believe I'm doomed, this would be the hint. The doctor, or rather the scientist, is at first taken aback by your reckless statements. However, you know it. Even she's laughing along at your morbid attempts at humor. Oh, I knew you were going to be fun. Right as I saw you. Well, it's good that I can still liven up someone else's day. Believe me, you did way more than that, and I can't thank you enough for it. I suppose it's only fair that I try and reciprocate now, isn't it? She says confidently as she resumes her spiel from earlier. Artificial bodies for owls to walk, AIs to walk around in. You said, well, I guess you're right when you say that technology. How much we could have? Okay, so that technology is nothing new as far as AIs are concerned, at least. Sure, we've been able to house artificial minds within artificial bodies for decades, but what about real minds? Real what now? There's no way you heard that right. You're recent, and yet the cat keeps talking on as though you did. Human bodies aren't built to last, as you're quite clearly well aware. Over the course of time, we lose our youth, our beauty, our limbs, our sanity. Ultimately, we're doomed to lose our very life. You made this dark for no reason. Okay. But machines, they don't suffer from the same issues. They can continue to operate on and on and on, and repairing them is faster, cheaper, and easier than operating on a human of flesh and bones. In theory, through adequate upgrades and maintenance, even a computer from 100 years ago could continue to be useful in 1,000. While the woman drones on, you can do nothing but stare at her dumbfounded, still every bit as unsure of what's going on as you were earlier. What? What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with me? Isn't it obvious? Everything. She brashly claims, right as her confident gaze finally. What if there's a way to transfer our consciousness into a computer? What if we could just take our lives, our personalities, our memories, our identities, and place there somewhere they won't fade away in? I've been wondering about that for the longest times. And by the looks of it, you've been doing it too. Wondering if there was a way to avoid the inevitable, to cheat death itself and live forever. You see, that's what I'm here for. That's what this is all about. That is what synthetics are truly for. Well, that escalated really quickly. A faint chuckle escapes your lips as you try to process all that I've shared with you so far. Right. Out of curiosity, how much alcohol did you drink on the way here? The cat evades your sudden jab with the finesse of a cheater. Huh. That's a cool question. I'd say about half a cup worth of vodka mixed with a little bit of lemon juice and garlic chips. Yeah, that sounded about... Wait, garlic chips? Hey, don't judge my taste. I'll have you know I perfected my secret brew over many decades of experimentation. Sounds like a little time for trial and error, mostly error given a description. All of it. All of a sudden you wish the two of you were just a little further apart from each other. Either way, this is hardly relevant information right now. Yeah, well, as fun as this conversation has been so far, I can't help but feel, that you're kind of insane. The fun kind, but insane nonetheless. Sure, you guys have Pandora at the top of your field and whatever, but this sounds like fucking nonsense. I've heard fairy tales more believable than this. If this bedtime story is the woman's idea of cheering you up, she's far more suited to a psych ward than a robotics company. Maybe she didn't mean it. Perhaps she truly believes in make-believe tales and unhinged science experiments, but you're tired of talking hypotheticals and miracle cures with doctors. You have been for quite a while now. And yet, right before you can say as much out loud, the scientist immediately shut you down. Here, take a look at our latest models. We finally changed screens. Oh, look at it. Well, she down your personal data and invites you to look. There's an image plastered on the highest quality screen of a lizard-esque robot laying motionless with a tube-like contraction. Definitely unlike any robot you've ever seen. Its shape, anatomy, the way its joints are seemingly connected with one another. It resembles a giant lizard, or maybe a wingless dragon with its sinuous body, powerful wings, and long tail. In the darkness, had you not known anybody, you might even mistaken it for a real human. But the illusion is quickly broken. The robot has no eyes, but a large visor that doesn't let you see beyond its cold, black exterior. You've never seen anything quite like this, not even faintly. At the very least, it doesn't seem the doctor was lying about the android's existence. Without even thinking about it, you make a swiping motion at the screen with your finger, revealing another image right after it. It's not much, just an image of the prototype taken from a different angle with the lights turned off. However, it's not to probe your interest even further. Flicking your fingers on this moving image to image at the ludicrous speed. There are dozens, no hundreds of them, thousands even. There are different models, some that even look more mammalian than reptiles. Some of the photos were even taken in completely different environments than the first. And then there's blueprints, reports, articles, essays. It's looking more authentic than the last. The more you see, the fewer your doubts become. These images aren't fake. This isn't some sort of elaborate prank. And Mary over there isn't lying to you. Holy shit, guys! As ridiculous and as far-fetched as this seems, synthetics do exist. Put down the tablet for a moment and turn to face Mary, whose large smile betrays her pride and confidence in her work. You wonder how long she's been looking at you like that while you perused the tablet. I don't know what that word is. After a second, after. After a few seconds spent reorganizing your thoughts, you finally managed to ask the million-dollar question. Do they actually work? She chuckles at your query, like having expected you to ask at some point or another. A few more slides to the right, if you will. She did the woman extracted and while she awaits to make sure what await a video of one of those machines walking around on its hind legs, ordering coffee from a vending machine seemingly without a care in the world. Cheerfully drinks the hot beverage alongside what seems to be a researcher. Soon I believe with them just like a human would. What a strange voice it has. It's a little different from humans in ways that you can't explain regardless. Somehow it still feels human. The way it speaks, its tone, its emotion, this is another AI, at least not a C grade or even a B grade. It's a completely different level from anything you've ever seen or witnessed. A level that you cannot imagine could possibly be feigned. So that's a walking, talking, and very happy synthetic. Our first real success. The decades of experimentation and prototyping. A human being extracted and reinserted into a machine. A person that will not die and an identity that will not fade and will keep. It always has. So what do you think? Unbelievable, am I right? Unbelievable indeed. And here it is. Right in front of your eyes. A dream. A vision taken shape and form. Although you lack all the pieces of the puzzle, you start to feel a faint light of hope shimmering within your mind once more. And yet the pragmatic side of your brain still isn't fully convinced. It laughs and scoffs at what it sees, ever so reluctant to relinquish the fear and despair that it knows so dearly. So you want to stuff me inside one of those shiny walking computers? Well, you seem to catch on to things quickly. The way she chuckles at your remarks sends strange vibes coursing down your spine. This Mary seems to enjoy oversimplifying her work and explanations far more than most professionals in her line of work. You're not sure how to take this intriguing quality of hers. Why? What do you even have to gain? Lots and lots of valuable data, of course. Like I said, we are still testing this technology and we're quite interested to see what effects your new living quarters will have on your life, among other things. So she says, and yet your suspicions only grow. Where's the catch? How much will you make me pay for this? It's on the house, kid. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? You get a sweet new bod free of charge and we get to study you from far away and gather all the intel we need. That's all there is to do, really. So it does sound rather appealing, indeed, an offer you'd be hard pressured to refuse. But that can't be all. There's no way something as revolutionary as world-changing as life-saving this would require so little sacrifice on your end. Your intuition keeps insisting that this doctor still has a few baits hidden in the murky waters of her proposition. Is that all? Harry pauses, uncertain. Sorry? I said, is that really all? You spot Mary biting the corner of her lip, failing to conceal the doubt that has overtaken her. You probably settle yourself onto the bed to better meet her gaze. The angle, not even she can hide away, that has seeped into... It's not, is it? What else aren't you telling me? The cat sighs in a vain attempt to make the stress vanish from her face. She probably thought it was worth the shot. She can't bring herself to look you in the eyes as she finally answers your relentless inquiry. Yeah, no, you're right. There is a catch. She hesitates to elaborate. You can only wait, silent but restless, as she ponders how best to explain herself. We don't know if it works, huh? We aren't sure if the transition, as we call it, works as intended, or for that matter. What? No, you can't be serious. You showed me that video. That was walking, talking, moving, real person. But are they a real person, or just a highly advanced AI mimicking a real person? No, believing they were a real person. Of that, we're still in the dark. That's ridiculous. How can you not know whether it actually works or not? What's the whole point of this technology if you can't be sure if it's real people in there or not? The tone of your voice is steadily rising, earning a few stares from people in the cubicles around you. You can barely feel their judging stares on you, on your frail and meekly body, invested in this conversation as you are. It's not so simple. The process we're using to transfer people's consciousness into the machine, the transition, it's completely like anything humanity's ever conceived. Impossibly hard to explain to hell. Not even I know all the details, and I'm in charge of the whole thing. I know you're probably thinking we're stuffing people in those engines, but the truth is that we are. Not even their brains. Even if they could survive in time, they would rot as well. All organic matter decays eventually. It'd just be prolonged, and that's not what we set out to do. The only thing we're trying to transfer from a human into is their consciousness, their ego, their humanity, their soul. Something that could theoretically survive the death of its host. And I don't mean that in the famous people live forever way. I'm meaning very real here. Of course, all of this hinges on the idea that this soul really exists. That there's more to our bodies than simple flesh and bone, is that there's more to our personality than mere electric signals coursing through our neurons. That doesn't explain why you're testing this technology before all this stuff out. If you have any ideas on how we're supposed to do that without experimenting on actual synthetics, I'm all ears. You try to come up with some kind of answer to a seemingly idiotic challenge, but you can't. You don't have the knowledge needed to propose any alternative, especially in your weaker mental state. I know that it feels like we're throwing darts at the wall and hoping that they stick the landing, and that those darts are literally actual people. But science isn't just about theorizing and coming up with cool explanations that sound all good and nice, so long as they're in your head. Sometimes you have to take risks, be bold, make sacrifices. Except you're asking that sacrifice of me. I'm not asking anything of you. I'm just presenting you an opportunity, a choice. Every other synthetic that's alive today, or whoever if you want to be stingy about it. I know that it's not safe, that it's not proven, that it's not a perfect answer to the problem. But the only way to get to the point where it will be safe, proven, and certain is through live experimentation on willing candidates. That's why we collect all the data post-transition to try and figure this real out to answer one of life's greatest questions, whether human souls truly exist or not. The existence of human souls. Now that's something you never expected a corporation to research, not even to an end as wacky as this. It's one of those questions you always wanted to answer to, but never really thought you'd actually be able to answer. You ask yourself what you think the answer is, almost as if on reflex, but the cold shivers down your spine and your rapidly quickening heartbeats can convince you to cease. You try to silence that malicious feeling, hoping you can simply forget about it as it though never existed, all in vain. In the end, all attempts at processing the information presented to you are there, with you pondering on your own mortality, terms with the expiration date placed on your ballway, brain wondering whether there's anything you can do about it. You'd resigned yourself to your fate, for there was nothing more science could do to help you. But now there's new opportunity presented. Oh, thanks, flick of hope within your heart, only for it to flicker and disappear as quickly as it once arose. So it's a gamble. You're betting on your transition, whatever it is, to actually do its job and save me, betting my life on it. I'm not betting anything. You are. Like I said, all I'm here to do is give you a chance. Even if it's just a shot, just a shot in the dark, it's up to you whether you take it or not. But think about it this way. If you don't accept my offer, you're guaranteed to die 100%. I've given a brief look at your file, and you get reasons to look as gloomy as you did be when I first saw you. You know what lies ahead better than I do. It's not going to be pretty. But if you accept my offer, who knows what might happen. Maybe you'll still die and have nothing change. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll become one of the first humans to ever cheat death itself. You don't know what to think anymore. You feel your heartbeat increasing with every passing moment as you consider the woman's words. Be honest. What are my chances? It's a binomial test. Either you survive or you don't. We can spend all day theorizing your likelihood of success, but that's about it. Theorize. Your actual chances, either 100% or 0% depending on the truth. Oh my god. It's impossible to evade her gaze. I know it's not very credible given that I'm the one suggesting this possibility to you, but if I were you, I'd totally risk it. I mean, at best you'd get him. Go away. I'm recording. Go away. And never return. Chloe, close it! I have the voice recorder on. I'm gonna tag you in it. Anyways, I mean, at best you get that's what you were thinking too. You can't deny that your odds of survival, assuming there are in any first, are higher with her blood than without. Yet still, a strange nagging feeling at the back of your head keeps bothering you. I just can't understand. There are countless people, some even in this very room, who deserve a second shot at life more than I do. I suppose you're right. You suppose? What's a suppose to mean? The cat smiles as she nods at you, confusing you even further. You want to know why I'm offering you, of all people, this opportunity? Because I picked a folder at random from a locker and it happened to be yours. The woman's words steal all your breath from your lungs like a sudden punch in the gut. You fucking with Mariah. That's the real reason you came here today. The scientist appears a little surprised by your synopsis. What? Were you expecting some careful consideration, or maybe a more routine, heavily scrutinized roulette? I happened to pass by and decided I'd look for a new candidate for our experiments here. I chose a folder at random and it happened to be yours. That's about it, really. You almost puke at an explanation, disgusted by the sheer randomness of it all. This is so messed up. Oh, really? I beg to disagree. Tell me, do you believe in fate, in destiny, and the idea that all our actions are preordained by God, the universe, or something else? It's another ridiculous question out of the blue. You've gotten used to it by now. You reluctantly show you it. Me at my age. You must feel dirty saying that out loud. Your parents would definitely scold you for even thinking something like that. And yet your answer seems to excite the woman before you even more. So that's a yes? Interesting. Most people just blame themselves in your position. Or maybe someone else who had nothing to do with it. It's nice to hear that you know exactly who's to blame for landing in that bed. You're not sure you understand, truth be told, but you're very pleased with your answer nonetheless. Anyway, to answer your previous doubts, if everything truly is preordained, then surely picking you at random out of all those was meaningful too. If you were chosen, maybe you were chosen by the universe or something like that. I don't think it's that simple. Maybe it isn't, but that's not the point. Destiny or not, you now have once in a lifetime opportunity before you. Quite literally, if I may add. Only if you can choose whether to take it or not. But why me? Why do I get this opportunity and not someone else? You'd probably be shouting at the top of your lungs now. Only your throat could afford that. Instead, you whisper harshly at the cat lady. Your words are half dying before even leaving your mouth. Why me and why and not a child who suffers from mindset conditions? Some probably have it even worse than I do. Mary stands motionless beside your bed, once more incapable of meaning again. Cool facade can hide the pain and discomfort as you listen to your heavy, heartfelt words. If children are a no-go, then there's still child. They're all gonna die all the same. Death will claim their lives despite their achievements and dreams, just as it will yours. Now do you realize the sheer insanity of it all, of dreaming, of hoping, of living, of what for it to all just end? You recall your dearest friend, whom you haven't spoken ever since resigning yourself to fate. Your younger cousin, who dreamed of being in space ever since he was old enough to speak. His parents, your relatives, so I tried to rein him into is never going to work. Your other uncle and aunt, who taught you ever since you were little to do good and be nice to others. Your mother, who only half a year was yelling at you to go get your act together and start thinking about the future. Things you promised. The foundations you spent your whole life in so far building step by step, brick by brick, in anticipation for what's to come. Now do you realize how pointless it all was when all it took was one odd turn of the wind to make everything crumble into dust? Life is so fucking unfair. Cry your heart out like never before, so much that it physically hurts. A tear comes streaming down your cheek. It's like boiling oil. You gasp like a newborn, slowly, continuously, painfully. You probably look like a maniac right now, finally befitting the madhouse that surrounds you, but you don't care. It doesn't matter. Nothing does. Nothing ever did, and the realization hurts you more than cancer could ever. Erin looks away for a moment, lost in thought, melancholic. She doesn't seem to know what to say. Perhaps she's contemplating leaving you to fate to run away from the sorry mess you become. You wouldn't blame her. You'd get away from yourself too, if only you could. And yet she remains silent, unmoving, contemplating, pondering over something you can't quite grasp. Beyond the liquid curtains that veil your gaze, she remains bold and stoic, like a pillar holding the madness that is the ceiling from crumbling on top of you. You stare at her intently as your body trembles, as your lips freeze, as your eyes almost get blind from all the tears. Nothing left for you. All you can do is wait. Wait, and wait, and wait. What the fuck? That genuinely scared me. That scared the shit out of me. What the fuck? I was like, life is fucking unfair, isn't it? Go on. You're right to say it. It's true. Nobody will admit it, but it's true. You work and work and work, and for life to slap you in the face and call you her bitch, piling problems upon problems on your back until it breaks. This game's gonna give me an existential crisis. What did you do to deserve this? What did we do? What is life punishing us for exactly? For existing? For daring to try and live against all odds? Doesn't it make you mad? Doesn't it make your blood boil? All these years of studying and working and doing all you can to live a meaningful life, and this is how the universe repays you? With brain cancer? You feel a need to reply, but you cannot bring yourself to utter a word. Merry voices aloud your every deepest thought, your every fear and resentment, even though she never knew you had. We didn't choose to be born, not in this world, not in this body, not in these circumstances, and yet here we are, because life doesn't care about us. It never did. And even on off chance that we do end up liking our time here, we live in constant fear of the day where it'll all end. Such a miserable existence spent fearful and cowering before the whims of fate. Don't you find it unacceptable? Don't you long for agency, like I do? For the power to choose your own life? To choose what you do? But without the fear of senseless constraints like gender or age, for the power to decide if and when it all ends. The people around you raise their heads, wondering what all this commotion is about. You can hardly notice them now, fully enamored with the spiel as you are. All your sadness, all your regrets, all your despair, they all lie before you in their graceless glory, taunting you with their unbridled power. And that cat is right. They do make you mad. You know what I want to do? I want to shove my big furry fist up life's ass. Show the whole world we don't have to bow down to it anymore. That we don't have to play by its rules if we don't want to. And I know you want the same thing. That's why I'm here. Because you want me here. You try to deny yourself this opportunity by bringing other people into this. But we both know what you really want. You don't want others to steal this opportunity from you. No, you want to take it. You want to rebel against life just as much as I do. You're just waiting for someone to give you their permission to do so. To help you feel like you deserve this. Well, here I am. I want you to do this. I want you to claim what is rightfully yours. She frantically reaches for your hand, grasping it tightly as she can with her own. I'll give you my first and final bullet. Our only shot at immortality. It falls on you to make it count. It's time for humanity to rise up against the universe, to finally claim our lives as our own. And if you want to be there when that happens, if you feel like you deserve more than the sorry life handed you, with her free hand, she starts reaching into her pocket, emerging with a neat bundle that was only waiting for your call. Moving screens. You'll sign these papers. the rest of your memories will of as clear. The more you try and remember, the more details escape your grasp. In your head, what should be a simple sequence of actions and events will die here either way. What difference does it make to you? Dates. Isaac, I swear to God, don't do this to me. Places. Ignore the crowd. Just focus on resting. We'll take care of them. People. Bad news. Tumor's progressing faster than we thought. We need to get you prepped up and fast. Everything clashed together in a mad amalgam. Devoid of substance, of purpose. Does it even matter? You've already made your choice. And now you'll die with it. There is one moment you recall, though. One perfect photo of your last moments forever implanted into your very soul. Details crystal clear now. You recall a dark room far beneath the earth. You recall many faces staring down at you from windows all around, either working on computers, watching as you draw yourself for your last breaths. You recall a deep mist, cold and damp, stalking in the corners of the room. Sometimes even seeping through the glass you were walking through to tickle your skin and chill the blood in your veins. Well, perhaps that was simply your vision starting to fail you. You were in a laboratory after all, not a haunted mansion, and yet in those final decisive moments, recognizing truth from falsehood had become quite a challenge. As though reality had lost its touch on you somehow, replaced by something else. Or perhaps you were simply going insane. The cold was quickly becoming unbearable. You felt as though you were walking through a blizzard in the nude. You would have probably laughed at that silly mental image had you still been capable of it. Despite the temperature outside, the inside of your throat was coarser than a desert. You weren't going to last long. It was painfully obvious by now. You could lose consciousness for the final time at any point for any reason, and each time you realized it, you felt the inexorable moment inching closer and closer. Distractions. You need to find some distractions. You reached forward with your finger as much as your body would allow and touched the thin but sturdy glass. It was remarkably warm to the touch for some reason. You felt the urge to leap forward and hug that clasp with everything you had, wrapping every limb at your disposal around it as tightly as you could. But after a long struggle that almost strained of you, you had forced to settle with just your finger. How pathetic, how ironic too. Only now did you realize the absurdity of your decisions. You traded your bed in the hospital for a coffin in the laboratory. You couldn't help but chuckle at the thought, as much as your body allowed you to. Anyway, in truth, it was more of a deep, raucous cough than anything else. A more painful kind of exertion than you care to admit. You tried to recuperate from that coughing fit. You spotted a friendly face peering down from you beyond the glass. She'd never left your side that day, and she made a promise not to do so even now. Someone's in a good mood. That's good. I do say laughter is the best medicine. I would know. I take the piss out of my friends all the time, and look at me now. As healthy as an apple. In spite of how nonchalant she tried to appear, you could feel a certain nervousness, thinly veiled beneath the feline's voice. A nervousness that she was trying as hard she could to keep buried deep within her. Somehow, she knew that you could tell. Her smile became fainter as she sat down next to your capsule and rested her open palm right on top of your finger. Well, this is it. A couple minutes waiting, then it's all or nothing. How do you feel, kid? You made as if to answer, but you were too weak to even mutter the simplest of words. In the end, no matter how hard you tried, your harsh replies couldn't pierce the transparent wall that stood before you. Steps away from total oblivion. Right. Scared her? I get that. Can't say I blame you. I'd be freaking out too. Were I in there with you right now? The smile darkened somewhat as if wondering only eventually that this may indeed have been in vain, but it only lasted for a second. When she turned to face you once again, her face was as confident as ever, perhaps even more than it had been. I'll tell you what I told all the others. You're going to get through this. I know what you will. You're going to win this battle for all of us, and I'll be waiting for your triumphant return from the dead. Her tone was firm, but fond, and her every word beamed with an immeasurable degree of pride and confidence. In a way, she almost felt like family in that moment. like the mother or father you so desperately wished were by your side. Oh, and you can bet that we're throwing a party when she wake up too. There's gonna be cake, soda, maybe a little alcohol, and all those weird party games for nerds that I cannot understand for the life of me. You'll treat right. She couldn't help but laugh at her own remark, stupid as it was. In your mind, you smiled and laughed alongside her. If nothing else, it was a nice thought to go to sleep on. Best not ditch your own party, Phoenix. Know what I mean? Aye, that's gay. You know it as best as you could. You're going to miss that party of that you were sure, and if you were truly doomed to not to attend, you still get death and ass kicking for the ages trying to get there. The felines ears perked up as she heard something he couldn't quite make out. Looked into the back where her like no. She then turned to face you one last time as she got up from her improvised seat on your tube. Right, better get going now, it's almost time. I'll see you on this side, kid. Don't keep me waiting too long. She makes as if to go, only to stop herself in the last moment, gently reassuring she smells it once again. One last thing. What I never told anyone else, what I just said for you. I believe in you. I always will. And something started tickling your nose like a feather brushing right under your nostrils. With a gentle smell of honey and sugar began to overtake you from when you felt your hand, now devoid of all strength, full limp on your chest as your eyes rolled upwards and your eyelids shut tight. After that, you felt nothing at all. Oh, I can say... That was just the prologue. That was like 5 hours long. It's been some time. You recall that fateful afternoon and the nightmares that followed for must have been the 20th time now. 2 weeks have passed since your transition and you still can't wrap your head around everything that's happened since. It still doesn't make any sense. None of this does. Your life certainly hasn't been the same since it ended. Supposedly ended anyway. When you first woke up, it felt like you just won a lottery. Everything, especially your own body, felt so much different than it did when you last went to sleep. But you felt surely that meant that the transition had succeeded. Can I... Everything, especially your own body, felt so much different than it did when you last went to sleep. But you felt... Surely that meant that the transition... I can't save anything. I have to do all of this today. This is stupid. Everything, especially your own body, felt so much different than it did when you last went to sleep. But you felt, surely that meant the transition has succeeded. But it wasn't that simple. You knew that going in, and you know that went even now. Shaking your head, you focused your gaze once to the beautiful scenery that lies ahead outside the window. The ride to New Relay is a short and, at least so far, an eventful one. The mag train is fast and rather quiet, at least on the inside. You pity anyone who might accidentally find themselves too close to it as it darts around the countryside at light speed. The sun still hasn't fully, but you know, I'm no. History. Menu. Yes. Look, I can just see. Listen, I'll play a chapter a day, so I can just click it. Oh, I'm gonna go now. Bye. Yeah.